Alright, today we're installing on the Arctic Cat Prowler 2012 through 2015 as far as we're aware of as the time taping of this. So this is your windshield. This is the standard non-mar resistant windshield that has this kind of obstructed plastic cover over the top that you can see here. It will come shipped to you basically like this, have your little installation kit and all that attached onto here. So let's get started on installing the windshield. And the first thing we want to do in installing this windshield is we're going to peel back this protective plastic. We're going to peel it back just past the holes. I don't want you to peel it back any further than that because if there is any problems, maybe there was a height situation where it's the wrong height or there's any problems with the windshield, we cannot return the windshield or take the windshield back if this protective coating is removed. So, if you just peel it back up a little bit, if there is any problem, it's easier to return it. Also keeps your fingerprints and all that stuff off of it while you're installing. So I'm just going to take that back a little bit. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get out my little install stuff, and then I'm going to have Bryan help me. Have him go over to the far side. And what we're going to do to start with, put on our bottom two brackets. It's the tools that you're going to need to install this on the Arctic Cat is a Phillips head screwdriver, 7/16 inch open wrench, and one of the little star keys. It's like a T20 star key, which we're going to need to take off our centers, our little bolts here on the Arctic Cat itself. All right, so now we got that peeled back. I'm going to have Bryan help me hold it on the other side. Just makes it a little bit easier if you have a second person. Don't have to have them, but it can be very helpful. So set that up there. Nut bolt and lock washer. And when we go to put this on, we just want to put this on really loose. I mean, really loose. You're barely going to thread this bolt onto this nut because in the end we're going to push this bracket just down below this weld. And but it's easier to not start there because it makes it kind of hard to put the bolt on. So if you just put that on nice and loose like that to begin with, I'm going to hop over here to the other side and do the exact same thing on the bottom. Same thing on this side. I just want to get that barely tight in there. Actually, going to put those on now that we've just got these just barely clamped on. We're going to put these center supports on. It's kind of help. The point of putting them on here, you can put them on even later, but I kind of like putting them on here because it helps find your bottom position. Make sure that you don't have the windshield too high or too low as you're going to set it up. Yeah, you want to hold that. Just gonna go in. I'm not going to get carried away with tightening these down, but we're just going to get them kind of set in place there. We'll tighten them down tight once we get them hooked on the windshield. And if you could see from my viewpoint right where I'm sitting right here, I'm about a ½ inch too high right now on my windshield. So I know that for this to set in the right place, it's going to need to be down about a ½ inch further. So setting those there, why don't you come out and just show kind of, so you can see how these are off. We just need to bring that down. Kind of tells me where I need to bring this down to. So I'm just going to get the other bracket put on before I go to push this down so that I get it in place. I'll have everything on to secure it down, and then we're basically done. So just put those on. Pull over here, so I'm going to basically take this now, and like I say, this little bracket is going to need to come down below this weld right here. we put 2 longer bolts in here for this very reason. They go on these bottom ones. My mistake. Long time ago since I made this first one. I haven't installed one since then. So with that, it gives us a little bit more room to be able to slide that down. Okay. So we're going to push this down. So push that bracket just down. Now, if you'll see, we're lining up much better to our holes here on our windshield. And that's what we want to do. That's how we're kind of know we're in the right spot, is that when we're lining up right to those. So now I got that guy down tight. I'm going to secure that a little bit so that it doesn't move on me. I'm going to get my 7/16 open end wrench here. I'm going to put a little force forward on this windshield as I go to tighten this bolt down. Always do this. It helps keep the windshield being pushed outwards instead of getting sucked back behind the roll bar in any way. So tighten that guy down. Nice and solid there. Like that. The exact same thing. Secure that up a little right there. Again, putting a little pressure forward. I'm going to cinch down this bolt. You don't have to get over carried away with tightening these down. I mean, you want to snug them nice and tight. They've got the lock washers on them to help hold them nice and tight. Never, ever, ever use Loctite. I don't know if I made that clear enough. Never use Loctite. Voids all warranties on your windshield. Loctite is not designed, was never designed for plastics. It's designed for metals. So basically at this point in time is a great time to check and make sure everything's fitting right for you. Tilting up good and both sides, got our right height. This gentleman's going to be making he's going to be making his own custom hardtop. He's going to be bringing that down a couple inches, 1 to couple inch drop off of there. So that's kind of what we've done for this guy. But at this point in time, you can check and make sure everything's working right for you, everything's performing well. If there's a problem, remove it at this point in time. Don't remove the protective plastic off, because if there's something that needs to be done, we can work with it while the protective plastic's still covering it. So now that we know it all works right, we're going to peel our protective plastic off. Grab our bolt nut and lock washer. Put these on here. And then I'm going to go about tightening everything up. So that's just basically what your brackets are going to look like when you're done. And then once we've got those brackets secured down to the bar, then we're just going to go ahead and clamp that right back down so that it's all in the right spot for us. And we're going to go around about here and get all of our bolts and such tightened up. So that bracket needs to move just a little like that, be nice and straight. The next thing we're going to go ahead and hook on, right to begin with here, is our center support bracket. So the center support bracket gets a little hard to see sometimes when I'm up there, so I'm just going to hold that out. That's basically how you hook it together. So we're going to put this round part over the top of the over the crossbar right there. And I basically just worry about this guy to begin with. Get him set on here. Secure it down, but not too tight, because then you can kind of rotate it in place. And if you'll notice, it's going to push your windshield to just move over here, and just so you can kind of see this little, it's going to give a little gap on your windshield when you put that on. That's why you want to put the center support bracket on first. And if it's giving you too much gap, if you've got too much gap, you can just rotate this bracket just a little bit. So if you've got a ton of gap, I mean like a half inch or so, we've got about a half inch here is about the right amount of gap. If you've got more than that, then you just need to twist this bracket back. Just rotate it backwards and it'll shorten up the length of it. It'll bring that back. So that's basically all I did right there. So I'm going to hook this in the secure position. Actually, what I'm going to do right this moment though is just put that bolt in there, because I want to get that straight and tighten that guy down first. Now that I've got that set up, we're going to tear off the protective plastic so you can see the windshield better. Okay, so we can see this better. So we're going to put our center support clamp right through there, and then stand up on here, and just put your little wing nut right there on the front. Just like that to secure it in place. That gives us our center support rigidity. And then basically, so when we go to hook our windshield up, we're going to hook on our center support bracket, and then we're going to take our 4 Velcro straps. So smooth side facing you, clip out, slide it down. Secures that in place. Same thing, smooth side facing you, flip out, secure that up. Go around and do all 4. Okay, so that's how we're going to ride. That's in our secured position. And if you would, with that center support bracket, I can push really hard on this windshield and really not moving it, because I've got these brackets down here, our center support, so our dash brackets combined with our center support bracket, and then our clamping and all that on the side makes it very rigid, stiff, good windshield for all around use. Now, when we're going to be towing it, or we're going to be, it's hot and we want to tilt our windshield down, or it's dusty and we want to tilt our windshield down, or we need to clean our windshield, all we need to tilt it down is simply unloosen those straps, release this wing nut right here. This is how we're going to ride around. We want just a half windshield. We want the airflow. You know, warm day, dusty day. When it gets really dusty, to decrease the dust in your cab, tilt your windshield down. It's just part of it, is the increased airflow. The more airflow you have through your cab, the less dirt you're going to amass on your face. So that's a bonus. Now, we also tilt it down when we're going to wash it off, because the most important thing you can do with any windshield you purchase, whether it be mine or anybody else's on the market, is rinse it off with water first. One of the reasons why I'm not a big fan, and I'm not a fan at all, of solid non-tilting windshields, one, there's nothing you can do when it gets hot, but two, I don't know how you wash off this windshield inside here with it in the upright position while you're out on a trail. This is why so many people scratch them, because it's not very easy to rinse it off with water first before you dry it off. With ours, simply unstrap it, tilt it down, rinse it off with some water, dry it off with a microfiber cloth, and you're good to go. It's all you need to do for maintenance, is wash it off with water. There's some additional products you can use for anti-static and things like that. If you're really doing a good cleanup, you can use some Dawn and water. But water by itself is perfect. When you're out on the trail, it's exactly what you need. You don't want the dust and debris. You want to take off the dirt and the dust before you wipe it with a cloth. Now we're going to strap it down here for installation to put our bumpers that you're going to protect the hood. So I'm going to take this top strap and I'm going to feed it down through that top loop in the top notch in the windshield. Smooth side facing me, clip out front. I'm going to take this second strap and I'm going to pass it through the roll bar. Smooth side facing me, clip to the front. Slide it through. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to give it a little pull. I've got to put some bumpers on here, so I don't want to get this too cranked down. This is not how we tow it. This is how we get it set to put bumpers on it. Again, smooth side facing us. clip to the front, slide it down in, smooth side faces, flip to the front, slide it through, and just a little tug. And basically we've got our 4 main points that we're going to be hitting. We're going to be hitting, I would protect this point right here, because that is going to come down and hit right there, potentially. And then we're going to set 2 right here on the high center part of the hood, right here in the center. So I'll just go ahead and go about doing those. Now, for this one, sometimes you need to make sure there's no dirt and stuff on there. Before you go to push these down, especially like on that guy, see, I want to push that windshield down to where it would potentially hit that bike. And I'm going to put that pad in right there. And I'm going to go over to the other side, do the exact same thing. And I'm just setting those pads down in there. I'm not sticking them down, and then push down, make sure that that's centered where it's going to hit, and then push it down hard to the body. So our high point, we kind of showed a minute ago. Don't push down on them until you like where they're at, because they don't come off very easy. They don't come off at all. So, sitting right there, it's a high spot. Right. Okay, now we actually have the windshield in a position that's nice and we're set to pull it. And now when we're going to tow it, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to pull basically we want to pull that windshield down to the hood there, and we're going to first put that back strap, pull that back strap and put it as high up on that thing as we can, and then wrap that one around it. And what that does is give us basically a double Velcroed situation, so that in case one of the straps were to fail, we have it double Velcroed, it's more secured. One of the things that you need to be aware of, if these straps wear, this is not a warranty item, this is a replaceable item, kind of a situation that you may need to purchase these somewhere down the road. I've had mine for years. We have special made ones done, but if somewhere at a point in time these are starting to fray, getting weak or something like that, you need to replace them, because that's what holds the windshield in the down position. Currently, 2015, these are like $2 or so a piece, $2.50 a piece, something like that, to have us ship you out some straps. So just to know that. That's how we're going to pull that one down. We're going to come over here and do the exact same thing with this. Is we're going to pull that down to the hood. We're going to pull that back one up and then strap so we're securing them both. Now, I am pulling on that windshield as hard as I can, and I'm not getting it to move. It's how it's designed to be towed. It's how it's designed to be traveled with when you're in the half position. Basically, you have completed the installation of your windshield now. Again, just to remind you, wash it off with water always before rubbing it off with any kind of cloth. Best not to rub it with your hands. Always better to rub it with a microfiber cloth.
No Windex.
And never, ever, ever, ever use Windex. Windex is not designed for plastics. It is designed for glass. Glass and plastics are completely different. And ammonia is completely, disintegrates in a sense plastic, so you don't want to use that at all. It'll bugger up your windshield. Again, not a thing that's warranted or anything of that nature. If you use the wrong product. With plastics, water is its best. Water or Dawn and water is perfect. After you've watched this video, if you have any questions on this and you need to call us, feel free to give us a call, and we thank you for your business.